Within this assignment, vitamins originate from rocks. They do not provide the body with any energy, however they are still known as a micronutrient. We have two different types of these, and they are fat solubles and water solubles. Fat solubles are A, D and E, and water solubles are B and C. These water solubles are extruded from urine, and fat solubles are exposed tissue. Vitamin A is a fat soluble. Its function is to see at night and have healthy skin. If you don't have enough vitamin A, you will get things such as dry and rough skin and reduce your eyesight. The way we get these vitamins is through green vegetables. Vitamin B is a water soluble. Its function is to provide energy. If we don't have this, we get muscle cramps and we'll find the body sore. We intake this through meat, milk and vegetables. Vitamin C is a water soluble, and its function is part of the immune system. If we don't have enough of vitamin C, we'll start getting things such as bleeding gums, and we intake this through fruit. Vitamin D is a fat soluble, and it provides us with strong teeth and bones. If we don't get this vitamin enough, we'll start to receive weak bones, and the source of this is egg, liver and sunlight. Vitamin E is a fat soluble. Its function is cell damage. If we don't have enough of this, we'll get nerve aggravation rates. And if we don't, and the food we get this from is nuts and seeds. And the last one is vitamin K. This is a fat soluble. This helps to increase blood clotting, so we don't lose all our blood when we cut or hurt ourselves. If we don't have this, the blood clotting won't be as beneficial and won't be as good. We get this through milk and cabbage. There are two types of minerals, and these are macrominerals and trace. These work in conjunction with macronutrients to produce life-sustainable functions. We are recommended to intake about 6 to 8 cups of water a day. This is because our body is mainly water, as it is 50 to 60%. The role of water is that it transports the nutrients, regulates the temperature, and helps food through the digestive system. Fibre is also known as a complex carbohydrate, which is a non-saturated polysaccharide found in low glycemic food. These foods are found in foods such as pasta and brown bread. This should be consumed in 18 grams a day. There are two types, and these are insoluble and these are found in foods such as pasta, rice and whole grain foods, and they prevent bowel disorders. And the second type is soluble, and these are foods such as fruit and veg, and these prevent the uptake of nutrients. Macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients. This is required in large amounts as it provides the sufficient amount of energy to maintain the body's function for a daily life routine. The following three are macronutrients, and these are carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Micronutrients. These are vital for the conjunctive development, disease prevention and well-being. The following are the two micronutrients, and these are vitamins and minerals. Now I'll be comparing a marathon runner and a weightlifter and the sort of foods that they need to be intaking for their sort of sports. As you can see from the two contrasting pie charts, there are different amounts for each macronutrients needed by the elite participant. For example, the weightlifter has large amounts of carbohydrates within the chart compared to what is required for the marathon runner. This is due to the fact the marathon runner needs an increased amount of carbohydrates because it needs as much energy as possible as they are running for a longer amount of time. The type of carbohydrates marathon runner needs is compliance, as this is a slow release of energy source, so they can keep on going for a longer amount of time. They are slow releasing because it's harder to break down the molecules. This is beneficial to the sporting performance for the marathon runner due to the fact it reduces the fatigue to occur, meaning that they will be able to run for a longer period of time without the feeling of fatigue. For example, if they were near the end of the race and the opponent was inside, they would have enough energy to push themselves in sense to overtake them to win the race. This is due to the fact the sufficient amount of energy was provided by the carbohydrates. This is why it is such an increased amount compared to what the weightlifter will need to intake. The weightlifter needs carbohydrates as well, however, not as much as compared to the marathon runner. This is due to the fact because the event is nowhere near as long as as the marathon runner will be doing, so therefore carbohydrates are not as needed as much. However, they would need simple carbohydrates, as this provides short bursts of energy, which is easy to break down due to the singular bonds within the carbohydrate. This helps the performer because they need short energy to lift the bar over the head. Also, they will be lifting heavier weights. Therefore, they will need an increased performance so they can score heavier and lift heavier weights so that they can beat the opponent. As well as this, the protein is still going to be in large amounts, around 15%, due to the fact over the duration and the end of the race will then need a lot of growth and repair by the muscle tissues. The marathon runner can differ between eating complete and incomplete proteins. This is due to the fact it will provide energy for the growth of repair. If growth and repair is in a sufficient amount, then the fatigability within the essential stages of the marathon race will not occur, as they could have completed only a few days prior to the marathon race, and the muscles may still feel tired. If efficient amount of proteins are being digested and absorbed, then this will allow the runner to train at a high intensity due to the lack of tiredness, which will then allow the marathon runner to keep going. As well as this, it allows more carbohydrates to be taken in, which provides them with a far more nutritional energy, meaning they can run for longer and faster. Whereas a weightlifter, this is where is the most essential part of the diet, being protein, which they should intake around 25 to 30% of their diet. This is in order to gain muscle mass and improve the amount so that they can lift heavier. This is done by the participant to be able to train more and at a higher intensity, causing more tears as they can repair them quicker at a quicker rate due to the increased amount of proteins being taken in. This is beneficial to the sporting performer, as if they have more muscle mass, they should be able to lift heavier weights in the event. As well as this, during training, they will also be ripping and tearing muscles. This is what they need to be doing so that their muscles can grow faster. However, they need something to help them recover and repair. So this is why they need to intake a lot more protein than what a marathon runner would need to be. A marathon runner has reduced amounts of fat due to the large amount of carbohydrates. However, fats are still essential so their thermal regulation is sufficient during training. This would be a negative towards the performance, as they will be losing energy through attempting to restore the internal body temperature to 37.5, resulting into fatigue. So at the end of the race, they will be more prone to be overtaken by the opponent. The 15% will therefore be a sufficient amount to give them the correct ability to maintain the temperature. The weightlifter, however, will be reduced for a weightlifter as protein and carbohydrates. Therefore, the fats are just the additional amount to complete the macronutrients. The fat is still needed to act as a protective layer in sense as they are when they lift heavy weights. The muscles and organs could be damaged, which will reduce performance as they won't be able to lift heavy weights due to the effect of an injury. Therefore, fats are essential in improving performance as it reduces the likelihood of injury, which could then have potential to keep the participant out for a longer period of time. This will further impact performance as when attempting rehabilitation for the weightlifter, they will have to be more patient as they are putting exercises force upon their body. The other essential dietary requirements, such as minerals, are essential to performance due to the fact the marathon runner, for example, they should aim to have high amounts of sodium. This is because it will impact their performance as it improves the water balance so they do not become dehydrated. Moving on to vitamins, the marathon runner should aim to have high amounts of vitamin B as it supplies energy needed by the marathon runner to last for a longer duration of time. This is a positive as the energy also provided by the carbohydrates as well, as the vitamin B will mean that there will be reduced fatigue as the participant has sufficient amounts of energy to use for the marathon. As well as this, vitamin D helps with calcium absorption, which should be within the diet, as it also allows the binding site of actin and myosin to be better to turn increasing muscle contractions, which is a positive towards the performance as it allows a better running gait due to the correct contractions being produced, which in turn should increase the chance of the runner winning. As said with the marathon runner, vitamin D is needed by the weightlifter for muscle contractions. This will benefit performance as it allows the weightlifter's bones to be stronger, and therefore when it's being put under pressure they will be able to cope. As well as this, vitamin E should also be taken due to the fact it allows structural protection to functionally move. This is a positive to performance because, as said with fats, it protects the vital organs and muscles, so it reduces the likelihood of injury, which could have the potential to keep participants out for a longer period of time. This will further impact performance as it is attempting rehabilitation for weightlifters. They will have to be more patient as they are putting excessive force upon the body. Moreover, minerals such as potassium should be intaken as it supplies efficient nerve function, as it supplies the weightlifter with better efficiency when performing a skilled lift such as the jerk maneuver. This will be needed for efficient coordination. This will impact the performance positively as they have the correct nerve control to be able to produce the quickness movements required to win a competition. As well as this, the marathon runner with calcium is essential for muscle contractions for the weightlifter. As well as this, it will benefit the performer negatively as there is a insufficient amount of training, and competing will be harder as there will be less contractions. Furthermore, a non-elite human should approximately consume 8 to 6 cups of water a day. This is because the body is 50 to 60% made up of water. Therefore, an elite marathon runner should aim to intake around 3/2 or 4 litres of water a day, as it aids the transportation of nutrients, which will benefit the performer due to the fact it reduces fatigue ability within the muscles, which is an obvious advantage as they will then be able to keep on going and not get any cramps, which then could lead to fatigue. Another factor of this is achieved by not being dehydrated and keeping the temperature regulated. This is beneficial to performers as they will have sufficient hydration and will not expect the energy system to go over over, as they will not need to cool themselves down, as they will maintain the body temperature of 37